Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to school. I do hope that you guys had a fantastic week and a little bit off, that you did some fun things or just relaxed and are ready to go for our second half of this trimester. So like I put in Schoology, I'm on retreat today with 8C. So what I just kind of want us to do quickly with this video is just recap from what we learned before break. I know it's been almost 10 days, I think, since we've been together. So I just want us to kind of recap the addition or elimination method that we talked about for solving systems of equations. And then we'll do an example together, and then the remainder of the time today, or for homework, you'll have a couple of questions to work on. And that's the homework assignment will be in your homework folder. So just a couple of reminders as we're getting ourselves settled. We're going to use the notes that you downloaded that Thursday before break. So I think that was the 17th of February. So if you're looking for those notes, it was a yellow background. It said 5.1 Systems of Linear Equations Addition Method. So you can have those kind of as a split screen. And then I just want to remind you, or let you know, not really remind you because I haven't told you yet. This week we are going to do a quiz. I think I have it scheduled for Wednesday on this addition method. And then we are going to do our next test on Friday of this week. So that test is going to include some ratio and proportion work, as well as the rest of chapter 4. So ratios, proportions, some word problems, that variation that we talked about, and then the addition and the substitution method. Okay, so just to kind of a mixture, but because of the timing, I do want to get us a couple more tests in for this trimester. So just something to think about. I'll remind you all of this again tomorrow when I'm with you. And then extra help this week, besides mornings, because that's always till the end of the year. You can come to the Latin school office and just tell Ms. Petrowski that you're here to see me. And then she'll send you back to my office if it's in the mornings before homeroom. But this week we'll have it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday after school in room 129. Okay, so 3 afternoons. Just to kind of get us back on track before we do have our next test, especially since there was the week off in between, and it's kind of a combo of 2 different chapters. So if you need anything to go over, please stop by. I do start coaching again on Saturday. The softball season begins this Saturday, so afternoons are gonna be starting to be kind of scarce, but we'll make sure that we do review a lot during class time as we progress through the remainder of this marking period. Okay, so by now hopefully we're split screened with our notes, or at least just listening to what's on here. So what we talked about before break with that addition or elimination method, that's a little bit different from that substitution method in the setup. So we want both of our equations to have our coefficient with x plus our coefficient with y equaling whatever that value is, in that format. And we want to kind of have our x's and our y's set up in line with each other. That will make our job a little bit easier when things are aligned. And our goal here is that the coefficients of our variables, of at least one of our variables, needs to be the same but opposite. So we want like a positive 2x and a negative 2x, or a positive 7y and a negative 7y. And if we start off and some of those questions have it that way, then we're great and we can move on. If we don't have that, we start making them happen, which is multiplying one or both equation by some kind of least common multiple, which could simply just be a -1 to get the opposite signs. It may have to be a positive or a negative number to that, but we'll get there as we do some examples. And then once you have the opposites, we add those 2 equations together, combining like terms. One of our variables should eliminate at this point. That's the whole purpose. And we solve. We get a number value for one of our variables, and then we can substitute that. So let's say we got like x equals 3. We can substitute that back into one of the originals and solve for y. Okay, we're going to get 2 answers. X equals a number, y equals a number, which means we would want to do 2 checks. And then we also want to remember that when we put our final answer, we're going in that parenthesis of x, then y. You can also get those answers of no solution or inconsistent, or infinite solutions and dependent. Okay, so those are still things that can happen. All right, so that's just a quick refresher. If you're on your notes, the next slide that I'm going to put here is the second question that you had in those notes. If you don't have the notes up, you can just add these. And something that we've talked about is we're going to want to line these up. So on your notes, I know that they're written kind of left to right. So we want to line these up. We had done the first question together Thursday. That's why I skipped that one. All right, so we have our system, 5x plus 8y equals 1, and 3x plus 4y equals negative 1. So when I'm working with these, what I'm looking at is my values that are with x and y. And when I look at those, my goal is that one of those variables has the same coefficient as each other and they're opposite signs. So my x's are 5 and 3, so those are not the same numbers. And then my y's are 8 and 4. Again, not the same numbers, and they're all positive, so I don't even have the opposite. So that means we're going to have to do the next step, which is to multiply one or both equations by an LCM. Now, when I'm working on these, we know that there's a lot of work involved, okay? A lot of arithmetic we have to do. So if I have to change one of my equations, I'm going to want to pick an equation, or at least pick the variable that's a little easier for me to work with, okay? So maybe there's something in common that I already have, okay? Maybe I could transform one of my equations to look like the other and not have to multiply both, okay? So 5 and 3 on my x's, not the greatest, workable, okay? I could make them both 15 and 15. But if I look at my y's, okay, if I look at these y's, I have an 8 and a 4. Those are common terms, okay? They work with each other on their multiplication tables. So I'm going to just put on the side what I have and what I need. Okay, so I have a positive 8y. I need to add that with a negative 8y so that I can eliminate that variable. And again, I want to do the easy way. Okay, so that's why I'm picking my y's. So I'm going to come over here to the side and I'm just going to rewrite. Oops. So I have 5x plus 8y equals 1 and 3x plus 4y equals negative 1. Okay, remember I have the 8y, so I'm not going to change that first equation. I need a negative 8y. So I'm going to change that 4y to a negative 8, which means I'm going to multiply that whole equation by negative 2. So here's what's going to happen. I like to rewrite things a couple of times so that I have everything I need. So my 5x plus 8y equation stays. So I'm just rewriting it so that everything stays lined up. I'm going to get negative 6x minus 8y equals a positive 2. So this negative 2, in order to change this value, multiplies to all of these terms. So negative 2 times 3x, negative 2 times 4y, negative 2 times negative 1. And now we can add those together. So 5x plus a negative 6x is a negative 1x. 8y plus negative 8y eliminates. 1 plus 2 is 3. We need this to be a positive x, so we're dividing by negative 1, and we get our x value. Okay, so over here we add and solved for x. Now we need to solve for y. Any of the originals is fine. So I'm just going to pick this top one. I'm going to plug in negative 3 for my x value and solve this. So just going through my operations, I'm going to get 8y equals 16, divide, and we'll get y equals 2. Got my x, got my y. So right now, we're saying our answer is negative 3 and positive 2. Quick checks to make sure that works. 5 times negative 3 plus 8 times 2. So that's negative 15 plus 16 equals 1. That's true. And then 3 times negative 3 plus 4 times 2 has to equal negative 1. Well, that's negative 9 plus 8, which equals 8. Okay, so this is a good answer for us. Okay, so what you've kind of seen is one example where it was kind of all set up for us. We could just add right away. And now this one we had to change one of our variables. Okay, what you're going to work on for homework is a worksheet titled 5.1.1. It's in your homework section, and you're going to work on numbers 1 through 5. Okay, and you can do a solve and a check. And this is in your homework folder. You can obviously get started on it now. You should have some time during class today. And if you don't finish it now, you're going to finish it up for homework. It's due before class time tomorrow. Okay, remember, you can always rewatch this video if you need, pause it at any points. That would help you. Okay, if you have any questions, obviously we'll go through some more of these tomorrow. You're welcome to stop in tomorrow morning for extra help, but we'll definitely do more examples together. I just wanted to kind of refresh our memories for what we need to do. Okay, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys tomorrow.